Good morning.
Going to meet people?
Going to work. Oh, good morning, everybody. Or good afternoon, or good evening. Depending on whenever you're watching this video, it's morning here. Heading into work on the warmest day of the year in Chicago. It's supposed to be 64 degrees today on March 8th. I think today is March 8th. I don't know. It's a Sunday. Man, we both could have made it through that light. It's still a little chilly right now. 40 degrees. I haven't been much colder, that's for sure. I hope my music's not in the video. That would suck. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about my experience in joining a motorcycle club. I think it's something that a lot of people have questions about, and depending on what type of club that you join, and again, like my previous video, the type of person that you are, the type of club that you join will depend. I'm a part of an LEMC. So our club is composed of police, military, and fire, and all EMS. The club is made up of a minimum of 70% of police, military, or fire, and EMS. I, being military, obviously fit into that category. But I reached out to my club after, when I was a little kid, I used to see them all the time. I'm not going to say the name of my club just for privacy reasons, but I reached out to them because I had seen them all the time when I was a little kid, and I was always curious. I didn't know anything about motorcycling or motorcycle clubs back then, obviously. I'm talking like 6 years old. But after I had been riding for over a year, at this point it had been like almost 3 years, that's when I made the decision to see if I could reach out to a club and find out what they were about. And obviously the club that I'm in right now was the club that I had in mind. So I did some research, and obviously, as any motorcycle club worth their salt is, you can't just go online and apply. You gotta work your way in. So a few months went by, and I was kind of just looking for an opportunity. Riding season was coming to an end when I started to look for them. Or I'm sorry, no. It was the end of winter. It was like March. I reached out to them in March of last year. So damn, it's been a year. It's been a year since I reached out to my club. But anyways, I met a contact through a Victory owners page. Believe it or not, I was just on the Victory page, And what takes place on that page is people just post up their Vics for other people to look at, or get advice on like how to fix something, or this, that, and the other. But I saw that this guy that was helping someone else out on the page, his profile picture had the club that I wanted to join and the club that I'm in now. He had their cut in his profile picture, and I said, hey, I mean, what's the worst that could happen? So I sent him a message, and we talked for a few days, obviously. Just before, he wanted to take it to the next step. He just wanted to, get to know me online a little bit. And this guy lived in Florida, and I lived in Illinois. So basically what ended up happening is he ended up asking me a bunch of questions. Stuff like, why do you want to be in the club? Like, what are you looking to get out of being in a motorcycle club? What's your level of commitment? How much do you ride? Obviously, he knew I rode a Victory. I was going to say, what kind of bike do you ride? But he didn't ask me that because he knew I rode a Victory, being in the owner's page. But after that, he basically was like, you seem like a good kid. You're young. And that being said, the odds are kind of stacked against you in the whole ordeal. But I'll send you your contact information over to some of the guys in Illinois. They're really great. I was like, hey, that's amazing. I really appreciate that. So a few weeks go by and I never heard anything. I kind of started to just be like, well, maybe I'll cut my losses on this one and keep, find another in. And right when I started to think, maybe I should just give it up, I get a call. I get a call from the president of a chapter in my state. And he introduced himself. He let me know who he was. He's like, hi, this gentleman, a brother over in Florida, reached out to me. And he said that you seem to be someone with your head on your shoulders and some wits about you. He's like, there's 5 chapters in the state. Depending on where you live, would pretty much determine what chapter. But I mean, you can talk to everybody. And he sent me over the contact information of the president. You got about 3 seconds, dude. There you go. He sent me over the contact information. No, I'm sorry. He gave my contact information over to the guys over in the chapter that I'm actually in now. And he said, talk with them, whoever's closer, or, whoever you think would be a better fit, we'll go from there and basically see if we like you. I was like, awesome, let's do it. That day later, I was working as an EMT at the time, and I had just gotten finished with a call. My hands were all filthy, and I was in the bathroom at the hospital when I get this phone call, and my hand, I'm trying to dry my hands really quickly so I can answer the phone, and I must have answered it just in time, but basically it ended up being the vice president of the chapter that I'm in now. And he asked me pretty much the same questions that the first contact that I ever had asked me. Well, why do you want to be in the club? All that stuff. And I guess he liked my answers because I never even spoke with the other president again for the next few weeks. Because he pretty much was like, all right, you're going to be getting a call from a few other guys in my chapter. Oh, shit, all right. And then an hour went by, and I ended up, I was taking a shit at another bathroom at a different hospital. And I got the call, so I'm sitting there taking a shit, and I'm talking to the president of the chapter that I'm in now, and they all ask me the same questions, but they're all trying to get a feel for me, and I'm sure that they went back and kind of like, said, oh, so this is what he told me, I kept my answers consistent with all three of them. I'm not that stupid. But, I mean, I answered honestly, so they would be consistent, but, so, the president tells me, hey, why don't we meet up with coffee? You're going to meet myself, the vice president, and the treasurer. And let's go get some coffee and we'll talk about it. So I end up meeting these guys. We got some coffee, and when they first pulled up, they sold it. They sold it perfectly. They all rolled up. They showed brotherhood. They got off the bike. They gave each other hugs. I was instantly kind of like, all right, so this is what it's like. I can definitely get on board. Loving the brotherhood. I'm thinking that in my head. And so we go inside, and they talk with me for about an hour and a half. That conversation can, go one of two ways. We don't think that you're cut out. It doesn't seem like you're going to be a good fit. Or we think it might work. Is this something that you'd be interested in? We talked about the whole process and what it would involve if I ended up pursuing the club. They brought me back. What ended up happening is they said, we got to bring it back to everybody else. We got to take a vote and see if having a new prospect hang around first for about 2 months. So we'll see if it's something that the guys would be interested in. So they ended up saying yes, like, let's bring him around, let's see what he's made of. So the first time that I was hanging around the club was the first time that I had ever rode in a pack formation. And I guess I did good because everybody was impressed. Being as young as I am, and obviously not as experienced as some of these guys have been riding 40 years, it meant a lot to be praised like that by people who do this all the time. I'm pulling into work now, so I gotta finish up the story. So I hung around for about 2 months, and there was another prospect at the time. So I kind of followed in his footsteps, and they patched him in the night before one of our big memorial rides for one of the fallen members. So I show up that morning and get there really early because we got to set up for the ride that our chapter was putting on. And they pretty much were like, so what do you guys think of young Canis here? They're like, oh, and they're all bullshitting, and I'm kind of picking up on it. And he goes, too young? I'm like, yeah, too young. And when they said that, I was like, oh, man. And then right when I started to think that all hope was lost, he goes, too young to be a hanger-on? Like, yeah, too young to be a hanger-on. He goes, turn around, hanger-on. Turn around, and he's like, spread out your arms. accepted it, and then next moment I knew I had a prospect cut on me. So that was the story of how I got involved in my motorcycle club, which ended up being one of the best decisions of my entire life. I love my brothers. They are definitely my family, and I would do anything for them, and they would do anything for me, and it truly is an amazing thing. If this video shows any interest, I'll show you some. I'll tell you some prospecting stories. But we're out of time because I pulled up to work. I'm really early and I could sit here and bullshit, but my hands are fucking cold. So, alrighty, guys. That is gonna be everything for today. For those of you who ride, keep it on 2 wheels for sure. Those of you in my area, you're gonna be getting some nice weather soon. Riding season is here. Alright, guys, everybody have a great one. Fisty.
Your diamond eyes were a breeze in May. You fell in love with the snow. You wear the cold like a warm beret, and I just want you to know